This is KGW News at noon.
Welcome to the news at noon. I'm Nina Melhoff, and we start with the latest on a deadly crash in Sherwood that killed 2 kids. It happened last night on Southwest Eddy Road and Trailblazer Place between a car and a pedestrian. Authorities have not confirmed yet how old the kids are or if they were in the car or the pedestrians involved in the crash. We've reached out to Sherwood Police for more information, but haven't heard back yet. You can see the reconstruction lines there at the scene. We'll continue to bring you updates on KGW.com. Now to Portland's awful weekend of violence with 3 different shootings that killed 3 people and injured many more. Let's start with the latest from last night in Southeast Portland at 128th and Foster. Police thought they were responding to a car crash, but got an update. Shots had been fired. A woman was found shot and killed inside that car. A man was shot and is in critical condition, and 2 children, a 1-year-old who was shot in the leg and a 5-year-old shot in the arm, are doing okay in the hospital. Police have not mentioned anything about a suspect or a motive involved in this. But get this, this is the 206th shooting this year. We will keep you updated as we learn more. Then about 6:30 Saturday night, a man was shot and killed by police at a condo complex in Portland's Southwest Hills. The 2 officers involved, a 17-year veteran with the force and an officer of just 2 years, are now on leave. Pat Doris has the latest.
The morning after the shooting at the Broadway View condominiums, bullet holes and evidence markers hinted at the violence from the night before. Jacob Driscoll said it began after 6 o'clock Saturday night.
The first thing that I noticed was when I was out walking my dog at about 6:15, I saw somebody with like a firearm run up behind the building that is next to us. And I so quickly noped out of there because I wasn't thinking of engaging with that at all.
The condos sit at 900 Southwest Broadway Drive on Markham Hill. Jacob was back in his condo when he heard the first series of shots.
Gunshots came out, like pop, 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 real quick.
It's unclear who fired them, but Jacob soon noticed a bullet hole in his kitchen window where he had been standing just 15 minutes earlier.
I remember thinking once I saw the bullet and where it came in at, I was like, that's about neck level. Like if I had been standing there at the oven, like I usually do when I'm cooking, that would have, I would have been calling 911 and telling a much different story today, I guess.
At a news conference held over Zoom Sunday, police said they headed to the condos after reports of a disturbance and were told as they drove there that someone was shooting a gun. A different neighbor told KGW that a man at the condos confronted officers and fired at them, and they shot back. Police confirmed that 1 or 2 officers shot and killed the man. They're not releasing any more information, and when asked if the man was experiencing a mental health crisis, the police spokesman said he did not know. Pat Doris, KGW News.
Meanwhile, in Washington County, deputies are investigating another shooting. This one happened Saturday night at Mojito's Bar and Grill on East Baseline in Cornelius. A 27-year-old man was shot twice at the bar and taken to the hospital. Witnesses say the shooter took off in a car. Then yesterday morning, deputies say they arrested the suspect, Jose Saya Sanchez, on attempted murder charges. A deadly shooting in a Portland park from Saturday is getting national attention. It involves some armed protesters about to make a statement about police violence in Minnesota and an armed homeowner who got into a fight with them. Galen Etland shares what we've gathered so far.
Around 8 Saturday night, this northeast Portland neighborhood turned into a crime scene.
I heard it sounded about to be 8 to 10 consecutive gunshots.
Chelsea Blando was in her apartment near Normandale Park and rushed out.
Along with pretty much everybody in my complex, it looked like the entire police force of Portland came out.
Very chaotic scene.
Portland police said 1 woman died and 5 others hit by gunfire went to the hospital. Flyers on social media showed a group of demonstrators planned to gather at the park to protest the police shooting of a black man in Minneapolis earlier this month. Police say armed protesters and an armed homeowner got into a fight and began shooting.
I wanted to thank our officers who are showing up every day.
At a Portland police news conference Sunday morning, Lieutenant Nathan Shepard began to share information.
They are murdering us!
But was interrupted by several demonstrators condemning police, use of force, and the media.
I ain't gonna stand here and let these cops lie.
Lieutenant Shepard cut the news conference short and resumed it later over Zoom.
We are at the very beginning stages of the investigation.
Although 2 people were reportedly taken into custody from the park Saturday night, on Sunday, police would not say if anyone was arrested.
We never release victim information. It would be irresponsible of me to comment on arrests that were made.
The deadly incident reached national outlets like the New York Times, but it is still not clear if the person or people who fired shots are in custody now, nor if there's ongoing threat to the community.
There are a lot of guns in our city. Can I definitively say there is no danger? No.
In daylight, neighbors reflected on the shooting's impact.
It's definitely different when it happens close to home.
It doesn't really surprise me because there are shootings everywhere around here.
PPB says so far in 2022, Portland has experienced 203 shooting incidents. 50 people have been hurt, and 14 of the city's 15 homicides have been from shootings.
Just as shocked and as saddened by what's going on. We know it's going to get better, but it will take some time.
Oh my God.
For Portlanders like Chelsea Blando, change can't come soon enough.
So I've learned to kind of tell the difference between fireworks and gunshots.
Galen Etlin, KGW News.
And again, those numbers going up again last night. So last night, Mayor Ted Wheeler releasing a statement about this Normandale Park shooting. He said, quote, "While many of the details of Saturday night's shooting near Normandale Park are unclear, we do know one thing for sure. Our community is dealing with the sadness of another senseless act of gun violence." We'll continue to follow that. Now to our homeless crisis, and those living on the streets of Vancouver are pleading with that city for a more permanent solution to the housing crisis. Last year, officials there counted 916 people living on the streets in Clark County. Now there are some temporary solutions. There's a safe parking zone at the Evergreen Transit Center with more than 50 spaces, and a city-sanctioned camp with 40 tiny homes that opened in December with plans for 2 more this spring and fall. Shelley Wong has been living in her truck for the last 4 years, and she wants something more permanent.
I am a 52-year-old single disabled woman. I can't rent an apartment for $900 a month. I can't. It's about affordable housing. There's not affordable housing. And if there is, there's a lack of, because why am I on the streets alone?
The city is holding public hearings on a proposed campsite on Mill Plain Boulevard this week. The first of those meetings is tomorrow night at 7. The second is Thursday at 4 o'clock, and you can find a link to those on the City of Vancouver's website. Let's talk traffic now, because there is a very controversial plan in the works in the metro area to put down freeway tolls. So in 3 years, they will be a reality along parts of Interstate 205. Chris McGinnis learned more about where the tolls are going and how much it's going to cost you.
We're looking at a variable rate that would have the lowest rate of around 60 cents per toll point, and the highest rate, I think, just over $2. So again, that's during like the peak of the rush hour.
Those figures are just for environmental study, helping to determine the tolling impact on traffic volumes, diversion, and air pollution. The ultimate say in toll rate along I-205 between Oregon City and Tualatin will be determined by the Oregon Transportation Commission.
With pricing, we're hoping to kind of smooth the peaks of the rush hour, so that people travel throughout the day as opposed to all trying to go in those same 2 hours.
The state has tasked ODOT with 2 main priorities in Portland. The first, find money for earthquake improvement projects. The second, improve congestion on clogged freeways. ODOT believes adding a third lane between 99E and Stafford Road and charging tolls will accomplish both. Oregon drivers are still a little new to the idea of paying to use the freeway.
Interesting question, because my first reaction will be yes, I would. But again, does everybody have that luxury of saying I'm going to pay more to?
It seems like everything we do just hurts the more poor people.
We're very committed to centering equity through this conversation, and believe that we're doing it in a way that hasn't been done elsewhere yet in the country. We're now moving forward with a low-income toll report to think about strategies based on income.
Tolls are likely to be placed near the Abernathy Bridge and the Tualatin River Bridge.
Variable by time of day, and it will be a set schedule so that drivers will know what the rate will be for the time they want to travel, and it's not going to change from day to day.
We're still about 3 years away from seeing tolls on I-205. Still, it gives drivers something more to think about.
We have the same questions too. We just encourage people to really stay involved and engaged during the process. We'll have our draft environmental assessment out this summer for public review and comment.
Chris McGinnis, KGW News.
Oh, no one's going to like that. Okay, some people are not going to like how chilly it has become out there. What you watching, Rod?
Yeah, so we had snow this morning that was sticking once you got just above 1,000 feet. Now that snow level since jumped more up to about 1,500 feet, but it's a chilly day. Here's the big picture. You can see the showers. The green is rain. The white would be snow rotating in from the northwest. It's all snow showers east of the Cascades, except for some rain showers being reported up around Pendleton and out into the Columbia Basin. So here we are. Again, everything white is snow. It's generally light stuff in the mountains. What was some heavier snow this morning is really kind of broken up into flurries. There's a rain shower, a decent one moving over McMinnville. The Sunset Highway, this was snow and 32 degrees this morning, but look at this. This is 1,400 feet up in the Coast Range, now up to 44 degrees. So travel for the coming hours over the Coast Range, no issues there. Up over the Cascades, 27 degrees at Government Camp. ODOT's been out treating that, and you can see some bare pavement that's broken up. So that travel is improved this morning as the snow rates have dropped off. There's no issues out in the gorge. Here's the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles where it's partly cloudy. In downtown Portland, currently at 44 degrees. We'll be up to about 46. I still think we'll get some heavier showers scattered about and maybe some hail throughout the afternoon, so we'll watch that. Once we get into this evening, as temperatures go down, showers will be ending, and we could wake up tomorrow morning to record cold. More on that coming up.
All right, Rod, thank you.